What's up guys, if you're like me and you want to add a very good sound system to your car, but you don't want to, cut up the dash and have to modify things, or you don't want to have to go out and find a head unit that fits your factory dash, this is a really good option for you. This is honestly a game changer. Obviously, I restore classic cars and trucks, so this is going to be pertaining to classic cars. However, you can put this in anything. I mean, if you wanted to put it on a four-wheeler, you could do that. If you want to put it on a jet ski, you could do that. Not sure how it'll do when you put it in the water, but that's for you to find out. This video is going to be primarily focused around classic cars though. I've personally ran into the issue of looking for a place to hide a head unit. And for those of you who aren't up to date on the terminology, that's just the radio that's in your dash. I've hidden them in glove boxes and stuff like that, but this is a way better alternative. Regardless of what kind of music you're into though, I personally like country and rock, so I know that those two sound really great through this system. If you're into hip hop and all the heavier bass stuff, this will be just fine too, unless you're looking for something crazy. So I want to preface this by saying this is not going to win any kind of sound system competition or anything like that. This is simply just a very good solution for you to hide everything, and that way you don't have to make any kind of crazy modifications. So let's go ahead and look at what we got. All right, so you're gonna need a few little things for this. First of all, you're gonna need an amplifier, and there's so many options out there. Obviously it depends on what you want. I went with a 5-channel because the 5th channel is specifically for a subwoofer. So I don't do all the boo 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 stuff, but I have a subwoofer just to play the low end stuff. So it's going to give you a really good sound all across the board. If you're into the boo 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 stuff, then that's going to help you there too. So, but yeah, I'll go in depth on this. This is probably the most important part, and knowing how much each channel outputs. So, and that'll help you pick your speakers. So basically, I just went with 2 small little speakers. I can't even remember what size these are, like a little over 5 inches maybe. So just little bitty guys. Those will go in the center console, and basically these are going to play all of your high-end stuff. Again, I'll go way more in depth with this as we're putting it in, but then you have your wiring kit and everything like that, and then of course here's your subwoofer. So the most important part of this whole setup though is this. So you can get this and the amp all integrated in the enclosure of the amplifier. However, this is by far the cheapest option. So basically you get this, there's the part number right there, you can look it up. This is what pairs to your phone, and it plugs in directly to your amplifier. So this replaces the head unit that you would have in the dash or in your glove box, however you wanted to set it up. I know in my 63 I put it in the glove box, and I regret not having that space. So we're gonna go this route, put it behind the seat, that way it's nice and hidden, and this will be what sends the Bluetooth to the amplifier and then to the speakers. All right guys, so the subwoofer enclosure is back here, and I know it looks like it's a tight squeeze, but there's a lot more room than what it looks like. So basically this will be resting against the seat just barely. This was the smallest size that I could possibly find, and the 12-inch for some reason was actually the narrowest back here from this company. It's called Rockville. So there's like wedge shapes and stuff like that, but our options are kind of limited because obviously we already got the seat installed and we had to work with what we had back here. So we're going to go ahead and get the subwoofer mounted up into the box, get it all wired up and everything, and then we'll start working on the amplifier. All right, so to set this up, super easy. Basically, we've already got the hole cut out here. These are really easy to build too, so it's not that big of a deal. But you're just gonna set that in there like that, and then you'll mount it down to the box. And on the inside of the box, you'll just run your connection from here to the back of the subwoofer, and you'll be good to go. All right guys, so we have that set up. Everything inside there is all wired in. So now we just gotta make connections from here to the amplifier. So let's go ahead and open up the amplifier. All right guys, so here's the amp, and I've got the mounting brackets already put on there. So this is a big boy, I know. My hand's huge and this is just gigantic. But this is something that I can build onto if it's not enough, or if I want to move it into a bigger car. This is something that I can build into. But the biggest thing was this control, because I don't do the, you know, like I was telling you. And this little knob right here will allow me to crank that way down, and this will be able to power all my speakers, just a couple little speakers and a subwoofer, but not have that completely overkill feeling. So we're gonna go ahead and look at the sides of the amplifier. All right guys, so we have all of our channels right here. That's where you're gonna be taking speaker wire from each of these channels to the speakers, and this final one over here is for the subwoofer. So then we have our 12 volt positive and ground, and then a remote. All right, on this side we have our inputs, and then we have all of our tuning on this side. So it has high and low pass filters on both sides, bass equalizers and all that fun stuff. So, and then your remote plugs in right there. All right guys, so I've got the amplifier mounted onto a piece of MDF board, and I just kind of rattle canned it the same kind of texture and color as the center console, because I rattle can the center console, don't judge me. But got my ground and my positive hooked up. So now we're gonna go ahead and see if we can't mount the board. Well, actually we're gonna do one more thing, sorry, I forgot. So we're gonna take the Bluetooth part of it and also mount it on this side, so it's nice and clean. Everything is just right there ready to go. All right guys, so on the side of the amplifier, wherever your RCA inputs go, it kind of varies how the amp works. So I think that we'll be using the channel 5 down here, but if you're not, you need to make sure that if you're going to do it the same way, that this is in reach where you can easily switch it around just in case you need to make any changes. So I've got it all crammed back here, and honestly this is a bigger amp than what I had envisioned in my head, but it's all right. So the blue wire from this Bluetooth receiver, this does go to the remote port on the amplifier. So I've got that wired in. You'll need a ground and a positive, which it's got a inline fuse right here. So you'll need a ground and a positive to power up this thing. We've got this thick 2-gauge super flex cable right here that's going to go up to the battery positive. So all right guys, so another thing you got to do is you want to mount this inline fuse for this bigger cable right here. So basically this is going to go anywhere. I mean, you can put it literally anywhere. They say to put it within 18 inches of wherever you're going to hook it up at. So I've got this bus bar right here, and I'm going to just run it this little short distance, and then the rest of it is going like that, and then the wire's all nice and tucked away up there. So yeah, just like when I was a kid, we're grounded. I've got the black wire going all the way down here to the seat bracket underneath the seat. So now let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. All right guys, so the instructions say to wire the red to constant power, as you can see on the top there. However, if you are using a setup like this, I'm trying to wrap my head around why you would do that. I think it's probably better to put it on a switch, because I just don't see how the system would power off if you didn't do it that way. So I think that we're gonna go key on, just hook it right up to the ignition switch. That way that'll feed power to the Bluetooth device here. We're gonna try it that way. If for whatever reason it's not functioning correctly, we'll switch it to the way that they recommend, but I feel like the way that this is currently wired up, it will keep this powered on and the amplifier powered on 24/7, which we definitely do not want. All right guys, we're hooked up to the ignition now. I've got the key on. With the key off, the light stays off, so that's what you want. Now it's pairing, so we could go ahead and connect to this, and then that should remote turn on the amplifier. So obviously I'm using my phone to record this one. I'm gonna go ahead and connect and then see if that power's on. All right guys, I just connected, and you can see the power's on right there. So now we are going to move forward with the speakers, and that should be the last part of this. All right guys, so we're here on the center console, and they send you these little templates that you can lay up here, and basically we're just going to trace around it. That's where the mounting surface, or the actual recess part of the speaker is going to go. So we've got that laid out, and then we're going to go ahead and grab the cover that'll go on top of it, make sure we've got enough room here, and we'll just go ahead and make our cut around there. The speaker should easily squeeze down inside there, and then we'll just run our speaker wires. All right, got the speaker mounted on one side. We're gonna go ahead and cut a hole in the other side. Super easy again. Just cut a hole, set it in there, set your cover on. Make sure you have room. So back here, there was a ground that I just ran up to this, okay, with this little wire. That's perfectly fine. However, the big ground cable back there, definitely make sure that goes to something a little bit more solid than just some sheet metal. So I can give you my final thoughts on this system, because I took it all the way down to Tennessee, and I'm not gonna bother with showing you how it sounds on camera, because obviously you guys wouldn't get a realistic idea of what the system sounds like. So I'm just gonna give you my full 100% honest opinion on it. So the speakers are down in the center console, as you guys seen, and that, I think there just needs to be maybe another speaker. Like, oh, you know, if I'm in the driver's seat, I'm heading down the highway, I've got a really loud truck, and it's coming from the center console, maybe a speaker over in this area would be nice, because it would kind of help to drown out some of the road noise and stuff like that. That would really just kind of give you like a more full sound. But honestly, I can blare this thing and stand outside the truck, and it sounds really good. But we took the truck down to Tennessee, and for me, that's like a 6.5, 7 hour drive, and then we took it back. And of course, it's been, you know, probably a couple weeks since I installed this. So I've had a lot of time to kind of get used to it and hear how it actually sounds. And it sounds incredible. It's super clear. And then the nice thing about the amplifier that I got, and of course, everything that I've used in the video, I'll tag down below. But the amplifier that I had with it has the bass knob control on it. So I actually just have that in the seat next to me, and I just control the bass on the fly. Like if I change the song and it has a little too much for me, then that's when I turn it down a little bit. So, all right guys, so again, this is not intended to be some kind of like award-winning competition bass setup, blah, 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 whatever you call it. But it is a very good system. This is not some kind of paid endorsement. So this is like me just going out, buying the things, trying them myself. Get creative, because you can literally install this anywhere. If I can install it behind the seat of my truck, then you guys can install it anywhere, especially if you got a bigger car like this 56 Chevy. So anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, because there's gonna be a ton of stuff coming. I'm actually standing right in front of the next project car, which I will be talking about in a video that's going to be released very shortly.